The Animal Welfare Club of Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife, has hosted a one-day seminar to promote animal welfare research in Nigeria. The event themed Promoting Progress in Animal Welfare Research in Nigeria, a Multidisciplinary Approach, was held on Thursday, May 29, 2025 at the Department of Animal Science Laboratory, OAU Campus, Ile-Ife. The hybrid seminar brought together experts, professors, doctors, and students from within and outside Nigeria. Speakers included Professor Frederico Vera, U4 Development Officer, Dr. Stephen Wickens, and agricultural economics expert, Dr. Temitope Ojo, who all delivered their lectures virtually. Speaking with Hammy Loaded, the chief host of the seminar, Professor Bukola Oyebanji, explained that the seminar was organized to explore multidisciplinary approaches to animal welfare extending beyond the preservation of animal sciences or veterinary medicine. She noted that the seminar gathered speakers from diverse fields such as art, economics, social sciences, NGOs, and law, offering participants a variety of perspectives on animal science.
Yeah, today's seminar is about animal welfare, and we feel I'm from the Department of Animal Sciences. Anybody hearing animal welfare will think if it's about animals, then is the preserve of people in animal sciences or veterinary medicine. But today we have looked at multidisciplinary approach. We brought in people from art, from law, from social sciences, from NGO, so that we can all have a discourse about animal welfare. And we even brought somebody from economics. We want to see the economics of animal welfare. So today has been a seminar bringing in people from different disciplines so that we can have varied perspective about animal welfare.
Commenting on the key takeaways, Professor Bukola highlighted the absence of a specialized animal welfare policy in Nigeria, which he said needs urgent attention, especially with the recent establishment of the Federal Ministry of Livestock Development. She called for a harmonized animal welfare law. Professor Bukola emphasized the importance of treating animals well and noted the lack of research economic aspects of animal welfare in Nigeria. She called on researchers to deepen their work to advance animal welfare initiatives in the country. Affirming that animal welfare is a collective responsibility, Professor Bukola advocated for increased collaboration to protect animals and push animal welfare into the mainstream in Nigeria.
Oh yes, we don't have a specialized animal welfare policy in Nigeria, according to what our lawyer told us today, which we really need to work on, especially with the inception or inauguration of the Federal Ministry of Livestock. So animal welfare laws should just not be scattered all over the place. We should have something specific for it. Another thing is about the philosophy. And today I actually got to understand the difference between towards or to animals. That we have rights towards animals, even if not to animals. And that is imperative for us to take good care of them because they enjoy precisely what we enjoy as human. And the person in economics told us that going through Scopus, there are no papers on animal welfare in Nigeria or the economic aspect of animal welfare in Nigeria. So this is a call out to researchers that we really need to work so as to be able to speak for Nigeria's animal welfare activities. We need to bring up our own narrative. We cannot rely on what other continents or other countries are doing. There is a need for us to publish in good papers, in good journals, so that the world too can read our narratives as Africans and specifically as Nigerians concerning animal welfare issues. It is expected, hoped, believed that the Ministry of Livestock will be able to help research in livestock and especially in animal welfare, because this ministry is focusing solely on livestock. And we hope that with what the president is doing, there is this implementation committee. And I think in October, there was a meeting in Abuja with more than 300 experts, that with all those people coming together, we'll have a concise and workable action plan for the Federal Ministry of Livestock. Yeah, to participants and anybody hearing this, animal welfare is a joint effort. All of us have to work together to protect our animals. And like we were told earlier, that is not about negative effect alone, that we have to start talking about positive animal welfare. How do we make them comfortable? How do we make them to have their rights? And actually, the Bible even says that a good man, like I always joke with my students whenever I teach them, a good man takes care of his animals. So if you are looking for a man that is good to marry, for the young ones, look for a man that loves animals. And so all of us really need to come together, to work together. Every stakeholder, our hands should be on deck, so that animal welfare will become mainstreamed in Nigeria.
In her remarks, Professor Adeola Oluwapiyi from the Department of International Law, OAU, and Dean Faculty of Law, University of Ile-Ife, described the program as an excellent seminar. She expressed concern over the lack of an all-encompassing animal welfare law in Nigeria, which he said poses a major challenge. Professor Adeola urged the government to take swift actions to establish a viable legal framework for animal welfare. She pointed out that existing fragmented laws on animal welfare are outdated and called for updated legislation that reflect current realities. Professor Adeola encouraged participants to reflect on the seminar's outcome and work towards developing policy documents to advance animal research.
Well, I will speak from the legal angle. I will say that our laws I will say first that we don't have an all-encompassing law on animal welfare in Nigeria. We only have them in fragments, in different legal documents. A mention of animal welfare is mentioned in one document, it's mentioned in another document. We don't have a specific document that embodies rules and laws on animal welfare in Nigeria. So the government, this is a major challenge. We need a viable legal framework in that area. So the government will have to expedite action in ensuring that we have that. We also have some of these fragmented laws too that we have here and there are obsolete. Today, in the course of the lecture, I mentioned a 1943 Act. So how can it ever take care of events of today or use the margin he used in the environment of animal welfare? Of course, the law is already obsolete. So there is a need for most of those laws too, many of those fragmented laws to be updated, to be in tune with current realities in the area of animal welfare. I will advise the participants to go back home and ruminate on all that has happened today and come up with a policy document. A lot have been said today from different backgrounds. We've heard from a philosopher, heard from a lawyer, heard from agriculturists. We need to come together and identify the issues that were raised today. Let's see what we have already in the area of animal welfare from all those perspectives identified, what we don't have, then the way forward. Then we can now subject this to the attention of the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock. Let them do something about it. Let a policy document emanate from today's program.
In his contribution, Associate Professor Jare Oladosu from the Department of Philosophy, OAU, observed that the seminar addressed several great areas in animal welfare research. He encouraged attendees to take their obligations to animals seriously to avoid violation and breaches of animal rights. Professor Jare added that the seminar would aid in designing methods to prevent animal rights violation and urged participants to pursue graduate programs in animal sciences to fill the gap in animal welfare research.
Absolutely. Because, look, as we are, trying to ramp up, the production of animal resources, it is better right from the get-go to take into consideration the welfare of these things. As I said, they may not be able to engage us in philosophical dialogue, but they do have their needs, okay? And maybe they don't have rights, but we do have obligations towards them. And we must take those obligations or duties very seriously. That's the least we can do. Now, because you don't want there to be violations and breaches of these needs before you now begin to, it's better to prevent than to cure. And I think a program like this will help us in designing methods and ways to go about the prevention. I believe and sincerely hope so, by uncoupling that ministry from the more generic Ministry of Agriculture and Natural Resources, the focus can then be more concentrated on animal resources and production, materials. If we are lucky to get somebody very competent, with the required capacity, this just might be the beginning of a huge revolution for animal production and management in Nigeria. I think among some of the things that the president has got right, personally, I believe this is right on the spot. Well, that as much as possible that they take, at least ponder on the suggestions that have been made. We have listened to the lawyer. We have listened to animal scientists from other parts of the world. And even the economists told us that there's this gaping research area left untouched by Nigerians. So, those who are research inclined, who might be thinking of a graduate program, they have their work cut out for them.
Dr. Adenike Adeyemi, a senior lecturer in the Department of Animal Science, OAU, described the seminar as an eye-opening program enriched by perspectives from various disciplines. She noted that the seminar's outcomes would help participants harness the best approaches to animal welfare. Dr. Adenike encouraged participants to prioritize animal welfare, emphasizing the importance of providing animals with the right environment for effective research.
Today's seminar has been an eye-opening one, especially with the fact that it's a collaborative one, cutting across different perspectives from different fields of study. Everybody we have been able to see from the legal side, from the philosophy side, from the economic side, and it's a plus for us to be able to harness the best from animal welfare when we look at it in an holistic way. For the participants, I will say that let's give attention to our animal welfare, because it's one of the things I emphasize even with research. When you are using an animal for research, I tell my project students, take proper care of them. Don't see that maybe they are animals. No, let's do what we need to do, give them the right environment, and maintain what they need to do well. That is when the result of the research and whatever can really be okay for presentation.
Also speaking, Oluwadamilare EKUNDAYO, a founding member of the Animal Welfare Club, OAU chapter, and founder of YTOP Global, described the program as a success. He urged participants to act on the lessons learned from the seminar and to engage more actively in animal welfare advocacy. He emphasized that those unable to care for animals should refrain from discussing their productivity.
Yes, today's program is indeed enlightening, and I'm glad that this seminar was a success. I'm listening to several professionals in the field, from law to philosophy to economics, and different professors who joined virtually. They gave their notion about this research based of what they've done, and they also passed the message clearly, because animal welfare is something crucial that we need to pay attention to increase productivity, to increase the performance of our animals. This niche must be well taken care of. So it is indeed an amazing time learning and also getting more perspective to the area of animal welfare. That is beyond just listening to this, it's beyond just the note that you've taken. The main thing is taking action, talking about it, doing it. I love or got involved in animal welfare when I was an undergraduate. I was able to practicalize what I learned in the Department of Animal Sciences by rearing my rabbits, my poultry birds, and my snails. And I noticed that the more I care for them, the more I check into their welfare, I saw something unique which drew my attention to this area of animal welfare. And since then, I can say that my engagement in the field has boosted my knowledge and my practical endeavors, and my eagerness to even go more into more research about animal welfare. So my advice to them is take the doings. From all the laws we've had, from the lessons that you've had, take it into action, talk about it, do more advocacy about it, because if you don't take care of the welfare of our animals, we should not talk about the productivity of the animal. Thank you very much.
Testimony, President of the Animal Welfare Club, OAU Campus, remarked that the seminar opened her eyes to the laws governing animal welfare in Nigeria. She assured that she would apply the knowledge gained to improve animal welfare practices.
I was able to learn about the laws that guide animal welfare, different aspects of animal welfare. So it's not just about people that are into animal sciences alone. So it's actually people in different fields of life. So looking at animal welfare in different concepts is what I learned today, especially the laws that guide animals in Nigeria. Even though they are not really policy, there's not a policy that is that has been put together, but then there are still laws that guide animals in Nigeria. So I'm able to learn about these things because a lot of us don't know that there are laws that even guide animals at all. But I'm able to learn those things today. Application of what I learned. Though it might seem that it's not possible or it's hard, but at least I have idea of what the laws are. And in my own little way, I can start to practice it. I know that, okay, I don't just hit animals for no reason. I cannot just be cruel to animals for no reason. And I have to take care of them. Okay, if I must keep animals, I must be ready to feed them. I must be ready to make them comfortable. I must be able to make them feel as if they're in their own natural environment as much as possible.
Ayobami Abidoye reporting for Loaded.